Good afternoon, Latrobe. You're watching the Eagle Report.
Yes,
the show right. Whose time slot will guarantee to kill itself for the next 3 weeks because Game of Thrones is on right now.
But if you are watching, thank you so much for joining us. Like me, I don't actually watch Game of Thrones, so I would be tuning in if I wasn't actually hosting. But anyway, that's besides the point. My name is Kristen Cetinelli, and beside me, I have...
Calvin Long-Carrick.
Yay!
Yes! Oh. That is my name. Well done, and...
That is definitely your name.
What do we have in the show today?
Well, we have so much prepared for you guys today. Today, we will explain the ins and outs of the same-sex marriage plebiscite that will be happening very soon. We'll also be talking with ACLA with Adam Ioannidis.
The new host after the previous host, Callum's tragic
he's
departure.
Yeah, he just kind of disappeared, but we'll find more about that later. But anyway, and we'll also be talking sports with our sports gurus, Ahmed and Bilal.
Yes. So, get your Tim Tams, your assorted sweets, and your flip-flops on. We'll also be following Daniel and Callan chilling with villains, and my own enunciations of This Week in History.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm
it's going
so
to be a
excited
full
for
show.
that. Yeah, 100%. And especially we'll have later on the show Sheridan Lee, who will be talking about the recent domino effect in Australian Parliament involving dual citizenships. And I have, found that really entertaining in the last couple of weeks as well.
Indeed. With
everyone kind of departing and leaving and coming back and being like, no, I'm an Australian citizen. I don't have a dual citizenship, blah, blah, blah. All that jazz.
I have a dual citizenship.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well... Yeah, just make sure that you don't, get into Australian Parliament anytime soon.
Don't plan on that. Oh, yeah, don't plan on that.
Yeah, just yeah.
And now we have news with Sheridan Lee.
Thanks, guys. So first up, Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce has referred himself to the High Court after discovering he may be a dual citizen of New Zealand. Mr. Joyce says legal advice suggests he won't be disqualified, and Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull has asked him not to resign and he will remain as Deputy PM for now. The Royal Commission into the Institutional Responses to Child Sexual Abuse has recommended that criminal law be changed so that clergy members must report information on abuse, even if it is received during confession, according to a report released today. There should be no exemption for failure to report offence, they said. It is part of 85 recommendations for reform of the criminal justice system relating to child sexual abuse. A Walmart in Charlottesville, Virginia in the US has been evacuated after a bomb threat following a violent weekend in the city. The threat comes after the US Justice Department announced a civil rights investigation into a clash between white nationalists and anti-racism protesters on the weekend that left one dead. A woman identified as 32-year-old paralegal Heather Heyer died and dozens were injured when a man drove into a crowd of protesters at the University of Virginia. US police have charged 20-year-old Ohio man James Alex Fields with second-degree murder, as well as 3 counts of malicious wounding and failure to stop. The rally was organised by right-wing Charlottesville blogger Jason Kessler in protest of the removal of a Confederate statue at a local park. A state of emergency has been declared as tensions remain high in the city. Commonwealth Bank CEO Ian Narev will retire by the end of the 2018 financial year following the bank's money laundering scandal. Corporate regulator ASIC is investigating the bank for alleged breaches of financial disclosure laws relating to money laundering. They allegedly failed to report 53,000 suspicious transactions made by drug syndicates and criminal gangs as far back as 2015. The United Nations The UN Commission of Inquiry on Syria has potentially gathered enough evidence to charge President Bashar al-Assad with war crimes. The member of the commission, Carla Del Ponte, who is set to leave her post, told a Swiss newspaper that she is convinced there is enough evidence, but is frustrated because there is no prosecutor and no court. The commission was set up in August 2011 and has investigated war crimes allegedly committed by the Syrian government, including chemical weapons attacks. The Syrian government has, of course, vehemently denied all these reports. Police are investigating after an umpire was attacked during a brawl at an under-15s football match in Hoppers Crossing in Melbourne's West. Angry fans and parents threw punches and chased him after he gave... Sorry. after he gave 2 consecutive penalties to Point Cook during the last 30 seconds of their grand final match against Albion. Albion was ahead by a few points, but the penalties allowed Point Cook to kick a goal and win the premiership. Legendary football commentator Harry Beatsall has died aged 90. His health began to deteriorate in 2014, becoming blind in one eye due to a tumour and suffering a fall. He also had heart complications. As well today, popular football broadcaster Les Murray is being honoured at a state funeral in Sydney's St Mary's Cathedral. He died on the 31st of July, aged 79, following a long battle with illness. And now on to the weather. Today is partly cloudy with a top of 19. Tuesday has a top of 16 with a high chance of rain. Maximum of 17 on Wednesday with a high chance of showers. Rain continuing again on Thursday with a top of 15. Friday is the coldest day of the week with a max of 13. And you guessed it, more rain. This has been Sheridan Lee for the Eagle Report, La Trobe Live.
Well, thank you so much for that, Sheridan.
Yes. They're getting into a fight at an under-15s football match.
I couldn't help myself laughing at that one, yeah.
I think we were all kind of giggling at that one a little bit.
Just a reminder to all of the parents, it's not the Olympics. I think the reaction was a bit out of proportion.
Yeah.
No, but you know what it is? It is 1-7, and you are watching the Eagle Report. That was an excellent segue.
I know. Wow. And if you haven't noticed already, we also have someone else sitting on the desk. It's Marie.
Hi.
Marie Trevetec.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
And so you guys have something prepared for us in the world of politics. We'll be talking about the same-sex marriage plebiscite, which is pretty
controversial.
Going. Yeah,
That's
pretty
it,
going
yeah.
at the moment.
Pretty intense.
Yeah, it is pretty intense at the moment. Yeah, so tell us all about it.
Okay, so basically, I'll go first what a plebiscite is at first, because some people get quite confused between what a plebiscite is and what a referendum is. So basically, a plebiscite is a direct vote of all the members of an electorate on an important public question. So it's different to a referendum, as a referendum is basically changing the constitution, but plebiscites don't do that. So, and plebiscites, unlike referendums, are not legally binding, so it doesn't actually change the law. It's basically used as a survey to determine what the majority of the people think. And because this is actually a postal plebiscite, it's not one like your regular election, hey, you rock up at a polling place and fill in a ballot paper. You actually mailed the ballot papers in the post. So it's not compulsory. So there's no real come off, tick a box to show you've turned up. So it's quite different to a regular election and plebiscite. So and basically, if the plebiscite returns a mostly yes vote, then Parliament will hold a private member's bill. So that can be brought forward by any member of Parliament in the final sitting week, which will be in early December. So that would basically be the next step after the plebiscite if the majority of the people vote yes.
Yeah, so it's really quite interesting.
So how did we get into this situation? How did we get involved in having a postal plebiscite?
So basically the topic of same-sex marriage has been a sticking point for the Liberal National Government for a while, with many Conservative members in the coalition being completely against any changes to the Marriage Act, which at the moment states that marriage is the union of a man and a woman to the exclusion of all others. And it's up to the Parliament as to whether the Marriage Act is changed or not. They have the sole responsibility to do so. Prime Minister Turnbull has said that a vote of the Parliament would not be taken until there is a vote of the people. So therefore, the plebiscite was always going to happen, basically. And a vote occurred last week in the Parliament to try and bring on a compulsory attendance plebiscite, so where you rock up at a polling place and do it that way. But the Senate rejected it, so he's gone to the postal plebiscite instead.
Yeah, so how exactly will the plebiscite work? Because obviously I've heard a lot of things from both the Australia Post and Parliament. They're both trying to work together, but it seems like it's going to be really hard to get this plebiscite out to people's homes.
Yeah, so basically ballot papers will begin to arrive in the mail from September 12, so keep an eye on your letterbox. You have until the 7th of November to post the ballots back, obviously if you would like to participate, because it is non-compulsory. Make sure that you are currently enrolled on the electoral roll if you would like to have your say. You can check your details online on the AEC website. I did it myself. It took less than a minute. literally, it would take longer to order the Teller burger from Nuts About Teller than to check your electoral enrollment.
That burger is
Queues get
absolutely
quite
delicious,
long.
by the way.
I second that motion.
Bit of a cross promotion there, but yeah.
That's it. So basically, yes, you have to be quick. So you only have until the 24th of August to actually update those details if you need to.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot on social media lately about making sure that people are actually enrolled. It's really important, and it's been ever since the federal election a couple of years ago. Everyone's been kind of pushing enroll. It's a really important thing that we are all enrolled.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
like you say, I did it as well, and it's just fill in your details and click check. And
It's so easy.
really
Yeah.
easy.
It's so easy.
why is this plebiscite being run by the Australian Bureau of Statistics instead of the Electoral Commission?
So basically, by using the ABS, the government can approve spending of money on the plebiscite without necessarily the need for legislation. So it wouldn't have to go through the usual process. So under the ABS, it's technically a statistical survey. So it doesn't come under the same laws regarding advertising that you would see in a federal election, for example, but the government has offered to make rules and laws around that for this particular plebiscite. But there's also concern that the ABS is poorly equipped to run the plebiscite after they bungled up last year's census, and I think we all remember that one.
Yeah. Census
gee.
failed.
That was a good time.
Trending hashtag for about
that
that
was
night.
all over Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
That
It
was
was.
such a highlight of 2016.
Absolutely.
Oh, great. And there's a plan to boycott the plebiscite as well. What would that, obviously, effective? Would that be effective?
Well, obviously, any boycott of the plebiscite could be damaging in a way. At the end of the day, if you don't vote, you might not get the result that you want. So you can't complain if you don't vote. So if you want it in and you don't vote, then the no vote may succeed and vice versa. So I think no matter what you think on the issue, it is important to get enrolled and to have your say.
Yeah, 100%. Even though they're spending over 160 million, is it, on this plebiscite?
122.
122.
It doesn't cost that
122
much to
million.
send letters.
Yeah, that's right.
How many stamps do they buy?
I wonder how many hospitals that would fund.
Don't make me think about it. But thank you so much, ladies,
Thanks a
for
lot.
joining
That's
us.
okay.
No worries, thank
It's
you.
been an absolute pleasure. But now we have a fantastic story. We've got, after a shocking ending to last year's A Current Latrobe Affairs, with Callum Misson leaving us, we now have a new host, and we're going to take a look at the Ducks of Latrobe University. And this is a really, really important topic
Hot
that we have
button
to
issue.
look.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really have to have a look at it. So let's take a look.
Previously on A Current Latrobe Affairs. Now that Callum's gone, we're gonna need someone new to fill the spot. You feel like you got it, Adam?
Well, I think I'm the right man for the job, Chief. You can count on me.
You've seen them on the grass. You've seen them on the footpaths. You've seen them on general areas of campus. I'm, of course, talking about ducks.
Yes, these vicious quackers have been attacking Latrobe University for many eons now and show no signs of stopping. Whether you're trying to avoid class or enjoy a simple lunch on the lawn, you will most likely encounter ducks.
The once peaceful creatures and local inhabitants of the campus have now taken to a life of crime and unholy sin. In the before time it was once written, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's wife." However, that has absolutely nothing to do with these ducks at all. We did, however, speak to local duck farmer Deborah Billyhill.
I am a student here / farmer in the Gippsland area. Me and my family have been farming ducks for years now. And I thought what better place to study than Latrobe University, which is so famous for all of its ducks. We breed ducks. It's like a duck plantation, basically. We breed the ducks, we feed the ducks, we need the ducks. and then we eat them. The ducks around Latrobe used to be beautiful creatures. They used to just be lovely, touching souls, but nowadays they've got a real nasty streak to them, a real nasty streak. I'm over it. One attacked me the other day, and if you can see that, cut my hand up.
Multiple reports have sprouted up recently of duck on human violence, with over 20 million attacks per day documented. It has now been found that the ducks have ties to communist Russia and are actually KGB agents in disguise.
Tried to make contact with the duck's leader, a General Lienz, but after spurting out some gibberish about corruption and delays with the media hub, he retreated into his silo.
Pretty much a classic Soviet duck complex right here, what we see. They don't actually know that they're agents. That's what they call sleeper agents. Whatever the result, the ducks and the humans of Latrobe University will have to learn to live in prosperity like the time before our forefathers came to this earth. It's been Adam Ioannidis, reporting live for Current Latrobe Affairs.
Well, man, those ducks, man.
It was good to duck in.
Yeah. Wow, that was a good one.
I know, right?
Oh, God, I wish I could come up with things like
Am
that.
I ruffling your feathers a bit?
Yes. Oh, stop it. Should I do tweet?
You know, but you know what I am going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to drop my journalism degree, get into medicine, and become a quack.
Hey, that's a good one. That is so good. But don't forget as well to tweet us at Eagle Report LTU, because it's really important that we hear from the fans, we hear from the audience. We want to know what you're thinking.
All two of you.
That's right. That's right.
and now it's time for sport with Ahmed Abouid and Bilal Ali.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you, guys. It has been an action-packed weekend in sport. We're going to go to the EPL first. We have the senior editor of the Daily Football Show, Joel Frucci, on the line via Skype. How are you, Joel?
Good, Bilal. How are you, guys?
I'm good. Firstly, we want to talk about the thing that is hot off the press right now, the Ronaldo shove on the referee. It kind of all went sour for him in the space of 2 minutes. So he scored, took his shirt off, got a yellow card for that, and then he went down in the box hoping for a penalty, and he was penalised for a dive and given a second yellow. And after that, to make matters worse for himself, he shoved the referee straight after that. So you've taken a look at it? What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think the initial decision to award him a yellow card for diving was actually quite harsh. I didn't think it was a dive per se, but I didn't think it was a penalty either. But then to actually go and push the referee, that was amateur to say the least. When you're a player as senior as Cristiano Ronaldo, you don't go pushing referees. One of the first things you learn, even as a junior, is you don't lay hands on the referee. So very disappointing on his part because the goal that he scored was one from the top draw. So that really took a sour turn.
Yeah, and moving on to the EPL, there were some stunning upsets. Chelsea went down to 9 men, not just 10. They had 2 sending offs in their match against I've gone blank. Who'd they play? Burnley. There we go. I was just looking at the highlights earlier. Their match against Burnley, yeah, exactly, where they lost by 3-2. They almost came back at the end. How did you see that match? Their second half performance was a lot more like it.
Yeah, it was a lot more like Chelsea in that second half. But at the end of the day, they were let down really badly, again, by 2 senior players. Gary Cahill's challenge in the first half that he got sent off for, that was nothing short of a shocking tackle. And the red card there was deserved for him. And then Cesc Fabregas getting sent off in the second half, that was just childish. But look, you've got to give credit to Burnley, take nothing away from them, because even a 10-man Chelsea is still a difficult assignment. So for a club of Burnley size to go to the champions away from home on the opening day, score 3 goals before half-time and ultimately get the 3 points, it's a bloody good win, and you can't take that away from them.
And something very close to my heart, Manchester United got up 4-0 against West Ham overnight. How good did they look for you? Romelu Lukaku scored on his debut. And then Anthony Martial came on off the bench last 10 minutes, 1 goal, 1 assist. Do you think he should be starting more often?
It's interesting. He's been a little bit inconsistent for mine across the journey, Anthony Martial. At Manchester United, but look, he's got plenty of talent, and it's almost a case of you need to nurture that talent for him to really get better. So yeah, you can argue that way, but the good thing about United this season is they have plenty of depth, and we saw with Romelu Lukaku, who's come into that squad, and now it looks like they've really completed that missing link up forward. He's wasted no time in getting amongst the goals. I was actually doubtful of Romelu Lukaku when he signed for United. I thought that leaving Everton, he still wasn't the complete package.
Yep.
I was doubtful of his first touch, but look, to score 2 goals on debut against a good side in West Ham United, you can't complain with that, and United are looking great already.
There were a number of draws, 10 exactly at home last season for Manchester United, and a lot of that was because they couldn't break down defences. Do you think that had a lot to do with possibly Zlatan Ibrahimovic coming in, playing in the same area as Paul Pogba, and kind of overpacking that midfield and no one getting in from behind? Do you think that might have contributed to all those draws?
I think so. And when you look at a guy like Paul Pogba, I think he was playing too deep as well, because he's a player that you want really pushing forward. When he was at Juventus, he was playing a little bit further up the pitch and he was able to sort of get involved with the strikers. But now with a guy like the Premier League, so having a striker of that ilk is certainly going to help those United midfielders.
And I do want to talk about your boys, Everton. You've got the logo in the background over there. Obviously, Wayne Rooney went the other way. Lukaku went from Everton to United, and Rooney from United back to Everton, his boyhood club. How happy did he look? He was a 32-year-old, but he looked like a 16-year-old again when he scored that. You could call it his first goal for Everton, but he did score for them in his first spell there.
Yeah, and look, the thing I love about Wayne Rooney is that everyone is saying, Wayne Rooney, he's 32 years old, he's past his best, he's just going back to Goodison Park for the story, to ease into retirement. I disagree with that. Yeah. He's going to be so valuable to Everton because he's got big game experience. He knows how to win things. He knows how to win trophies. You saw how good he was with Manchester United. He won things domestically and won things abroad. And of course, Everton haven't won anything really for 20 years. So I think to have his influence there will be huge. And it was great to see him get off the mark so quickly against Stoke City. And that header that he scored, that's not an easy header. To actually be able to crane your head around that and then find the net as well as he did, that takes some skill. So it was a good start to the season. I think there's still plenty more to come from Everton and Rooney. They actually dominated that game, but in the end, 1 goal, well, it's one more than the opposition, so 3 points nonetheless.
And finally, it won't be an Australian football segment without talking about Aaron Moy. Only credited with 1 direct assist, but he did have a direct involvement in in their first 2 goals. What kind of impact do you see him having on the Premier League this season, and do you think it would be similar to the kind of impact he had on the Championship last season?
Well, it's a bit difficult to say, because I think if we learnt anything about Aaron Moy in the Championship last season, it's that he knows how to play the league. He was dominant in the Championship, and now it's going to be a real test of him in the Premier League to see exactly what he can do. But I think the big challenge for him is that he's probably going to be a marked man now. Everyone knows what he can do, so I think you've got to pay him the respect that he deserves and actually send a player to him when you come up against him. But look, we saw against Crystal Palace that he has what it takes to match it in this league. And that cross that he delivered for Steve Munua, that was a terrific ball. And as you said, Bilal, I mean, he played a crucial part in that first goal, and you can only see it continuing. And it'd be great for Australian football if he can continue on this path. Even really since Harry Kewell and Mark Viduka, we haven't really seen an Australian tear up the Premier League.
Yep. Joel Ferrucci from the Daily Football Show, thank you for your time. And you can catch your work on the Daily Football Show website or on the Daily Football Show podcast weekdays from 4 p.m. on, correct me if I'm wrong, but Wooshka or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yep, that's right. Thanks, Bella.
No worries. Thanks for your time, man.
Joel.
All good, guys.
All right, Ahmed, we are going to talk some AFL now.
Yep.
The
First of all, great interview, by the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Moving on to AFL.
Toby Green, he's in some hot water again.
Yep, again.
He's just come back and he's kicking people in the head.
Yeah.
The collection of the ball puts his foot up. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that? You're the expert here.
Well, firstly, I don't like what he did at all. Putting your foot up like that in not even for a mark, just going for a collection from a handball. It's not good for the game. Kids don't want to watch that. Parents don't want to have their kids watching that, learning that, and copying it on the field. Toby Green's someone they look up to as a small fella. Just not really needed. The player Dalhouse went off with an injury. The players don't want to be a part of it. It's something that AFL has to really lock down on, and if they let this one go, players are just going to keep on doing it. So I think he's going to have to cop some weeks for it.
But you mentioned that it wasn't a mark, so that's why it's not okay. So is it okay if he did that and he did grab a mark and everyone yells out, "Oh, Specky," and then it's okay. It's up for mark of the year. But when he's collecting a handball, it's not okay.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it's hard to judge this, but the onus is on the player going for the mark. If you see a guy coming at you face first, you obviously can't put your foot up head high. I'm sure he didn't mean it, but the onus is on Toby Green while he's going up. Surely, if Dalhouse was going back into him, it wouldn't be as bad with his leg hitting the back of his shoulders. But coming up in face first, Toby's just got to he's got to realise someone's coming at him with their face, and you can't have your foot in his face. You just got to change it. It's not allowed.
And with the Adelaide Crows, the top of the table, they've lost 4 games, but they're hitting peak form at the right time of the season. They're going to get that home final. It's looking increasingly likely with only 2 rounds to go. How far do you see them going? And if you do see them getting to the grand final, do you see that game at the MCG being maybe a stumbling block for them?
Yep. Well, 2 rounds left for them. Have been impeccable at the Adelaide Oval. Can't seem to beat him. Any team can't seem to beat him. But the past weekend, Taylor Walker, their star forward, and Rory Sloane, probably their best player, suffered a little bit of an injury. They're taking tests. Shouldn't be too bad. But, they are picking up at the right time. Going into the finals, they could face Richmond. Geelong, the league's so close right now, you don't really know who they're going to face. It's highly likely they'll win their home finals at Adelaide. But the big thing is the grand final is always played at the MCG. Every team has to win the grand final at the MCG. It's not unlikely that they won't win there, but it's different to playing on the Adelaide Oval. So on grand final day with all the pressure, the 100,000 fans, different stadium, it's could be difficult for them. They've had a great season. They don't really have the experience, but it's you got to back them at this point of the league season. They've been so good.
And just lastly, which teams do you see sneaking into that top 8? You have Essendon there and thereabouts. You have the Western Bulldogs, last season's premiers, they're in there. And then you've got the likes of St Kilda and Melbourne and the likes just sniffing around. Which teams do you see sneaking in?
A few teams going in. I'd like to say Carlton, but at this moment it's mathematically impossible. So right now I'm going to have to say the top 8 stays how it is. West Coast make it, Melbourne make it. Unfortunately, Essendon, the league's just too good right now. They have a lot of young talent, Merritt, Danaher, all heaps of players, but doesn't look likely for them. It's going to stay the same. And if I had to pick a grand final winner this early, I would say Adelaide. Okay, so it's going to be a good final series. Unfortunately for Essendon, we've lost Orazio Fantasia and
that's another big injury.
And Zach Merritt just at the wrong time of the season. But unfortunately, I think I do agree with your analysis for Essendon. I think it might not be our season, but
could be next year.
Yeah, it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's all from us.
It was great.
Yeah, we'll go back.
Boys. It was absolutely, something that I am not very good at.
Insightful. Shout out to Joel.
Yeah, Joel did real well. Shout out to Joel.
I believe Joel is a previous La Trobe student
he
as
is,
well.
Yep.
Yeah, I did see his face around
Shows we can get jobs.
around the corridors. Yeah,
We're going somewhere.
Oh, well, yeah, thank you so much, boys. But up next, we have something quite worth the thrill and something that maybe our viewers can relate to, kind of. I mean, I don't know.
All right,
What do you
we'll
think?
have to watch and see.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Hey, I'm looking over those roommate applications you sent through.
Yeah, how are they looking?
really boring. You got this one guy with a moustache, this one guy without a moustache, this one guy wearing an Iron Man helmet. It's all just...
I mean, the Iron Man helmet guy was kind of cool. I mean, imagine if he was really Tony Stark. That'd be awesome, right?
Yeah, me and heroes don't really gel. How about a villain? The Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
He's crazy, man.
No, he's edgy.
Well, I mean, kind of.
He's got memory loss, what things that go bump in the night, and he keeps to himself.
Yeah, but the guy has trigger words and stuff. Halfway through a conversation, like
everyone has trigger words.
Yeah, I forgot you're liberal.
Oh my god. Moving on.
Yeah.
He also
I mean, Winter Soldier is actually Russian. I mean, he's like a Russian communist.
No, he's Russian to help you open jars. His big fucking poop and metal arm. What's your comeback then? Got any other better options? Daniel?
Yeah, I do have better options. I have Ironmonger.
Who?
Obadiah Stane.
Who?
Mr. Man Who Doesn't Know Personal Space in Iron Man 1.
Oh, yeah. The guy who tried to kill his closest friend and sold weapons to terrorists.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, you call that good business model. That's what you call it.
No, you call that a bad man. Why wouldn't he kill you? He tried to kill Tony.
Yeah, but I'm not Tony.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't kill any... He only tried to kill Tony because Tony was the only thing standing in his way. If I'm a roommate, I ain't standing in his way.
You're not making him any money though, are you? You're a liability.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
You know what? Humans suck. How about an alien?
Alright, what alien?
Nebula.
Who?
The bald Karen Gillian. The blue.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say blue, my hair's purple now.
Yeah. This keeps the blue aliens. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, she's kind of edgy, can also open jars.
So that's
it's a serious problem.
That's your qualifier.
Yeah,
opening jars.
Yeah, it's a serious problem.
You need to go to the gym more. But barring that, she's boring as.
Yeah, no, she's
I mean, come on, you can hold a conversation with her. And all she does is get angry at her sister half the time. That's her life.
I can relate.
Yeah. But speaking of Nebula, her daddy, Thanos.
Chairman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's not great. He's nothing.
Yeah, he'll just sit in the corner and do nothing. That's exactly what I needed to
like
roommate.
A plan. Yeah, okay. Well, good luck gonna help with the dishes or the vacuuming.
Well, that's the thing. He won't use the dishes and he won't cause a mess on the floor. He literally sits in that chair.
Don't think he
That's
eats?
his only existence. No.
All he does is nothing and then fail. Right? He's lost 2 daughters. He lost an Infinity Gem when he gave it to Loki.
Yeah, but no, not Loki.
Loki. Yeah, Loki.
What's so great about Loki?
He's also edgy looking. He's charismatic. He's talented. Could pull sick pranks together.
Okay.
We'll start a YouTube channel. I'll make millions.
He's not going to work with you. The guy betrays everyone.
But me.
He betrays... him and Thor worked together in Dark World. Betrayed him. He betrays everyone, even his father, who he wants to be proud, of him.
That's because he knows his father's a bad actor in Thor 2, the bad film.
Well,
right?
Acting in that movie.
Yes, his dad's in that.
Isn't he like sleepwalked?
No, he has one scene where he's like, I wanted you to be happy, Thor.
Okay, alright.
I have feelings.
Okay.
That's it. It's so bad.
Barring that, you're just going to be the victim. And the thing is, the guy uses illusions all the time.
Life's an illusion. Life's an illusion.
That's getting really creepy, but no, but you will never be able to tell what's in your house anymore. You're walking, and then suddenly you're stepping in Lego.
That's my life now.
Why are you stepping in Lego?
There's Lego everywhere. Don't ask questions. All right. Okay. Count of 3. Final answer.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
The
Shocker.
Oh,
that works.
I didn't know that would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's.
All right. That's the end of the discussion. I'll give him a call.
Wait. Shocker 1 or Shocker 2?
Shocker 2.
Wrong answer.
What? Wait. Why are you going with
Wrong
the chair?
Answer. There's another chair here.
Well, that was pretty interesting.
Who doesn't want to chill with a villain?
Oh, I know I will chill with a villain. One day in the future.
Dr. Freeze. Now, who likes X-Files?
Me. Me! Used to be my ringtone.
We have the biggest fan of X-Files here.
Hello, that is I.
Meg, to talk to us about conspiracies in much longer segments than a minute.
Yes.
And Adam.
Adam
is also here.
Yeah.
I am.
forget.
It's true. It's true. This is my my human body for now.
My human form.
Well, I've heard some interesting conspiracy theories coming out of your mouth, Meg.
Yes.
And also Adam. Please tell us what's going on, because I am really, really scared and I don't want to fall into a deep, dark hole.
Like
You definitely should not fall into a deep dark hole, but you should be scared. Take it away, Meg.
So, before we start, I have to say this. I just want to say that what we are about to talk about is purely speculation and for entertainment purposes only. So, it's just for fun. Basically.
Wrong, it's all real.
I don't believe that.
Take this with a grain of salt, I have to say that. So, from the intriguing to the completely outrageous, we've picked some of our favourite myths and legends surrounding our own campus of La Trobe University.
Let's hear them. Let's
So,
go.
First off, and one of the most popular, is that the university has underground tunnels all throughout the campus. They definitely exist, that is a definite. And you may have seen the entrance to some of them around. I know there's one around Menzies College, but their true purpose still remains a mystery. So Crikey, which is a pretty popular website, wrote an article in 2013 that included that the possible reason behind them existing, along with some other university tunnels such as Monash, was because they used for easy access around the campus and for general maintenance, but I find that a bit boring and slightly cover-up-ish.
So it must be something else.
Yeah.
There's something going on.
Yeah, that's definitely intriguing.
So there are always talks about the real purpose behind the tunnels used as an escape route, something a bit more sinister, plans. So yeah, more sinister motives for those tunnels. But the creepy thing is that they do actually exist. That's not a...
What are the sinister
false.
motives?
Yeah.
Well, obviously I can't say because I might have conjured this up in my head without any false information, but could be nuclear involved. A little site there for some underground plans coming up because there's boilers, little buttons that you don't know what to use for. So who knows what's going on?
So you're implying that they're brand new tunnels then?
No, they've been here as long as La Trobe's existed.
So
but
50 years.
their motive might have changed throughout time as time has progressed on. Who knows?
Meg, can you tell us what else
They
is
didn't have
going
to
on
do
at La
maintenance
Trobe,
50
please?
years ago.
Well, I can't right now, but Adam can.
Aside from the tunnels, there's actually been some speculation about how the campus was built itself, like the structure of all the buildings and stuff. In the same article, Crikey also writes that back in '67, La Trobe was purpose-built as an anti-activist citadel with several police access points, and that's so they can cut off all the protesting that goes on. Because if you're unaware, there is a lot of protesting that goes on at La Trobe, a lot of pissed off people.
Oh, yeah. All
It
the
happens.
time.
It happens.
Several large groups that conduct it with notorious reputations. Anyway,
a few.
continue, Adam.
Yep, what he said. Ruth Brown, who is a La Trobe alumni, was quoted to say that the Student Union, which is now the Student Hall, which is near the Eagle Bar down there, which no one uses, was built apart from the other buildings and over the other side of the moat to make it harder for students to storm the admin building.
Oh, gee.
Coincidence? I think not.
Oh, my God.
Now, another little mystery relating to the way La Trobe is built is something that caught my eye last year, is that there is no actual car park 5.
I know
Right,
someone
right.
told me that.
What?
Am I right? It's true. Where did it go? Did it ever exist? Where is it
knows?
now?
These are the hard
You know
questions.
what? It's like that district in Hunger Games. I
District
haven't
13.
seen, that's the one. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it in a while,
It's
so
underground.
it escaped my mind. But
Oh, yeah,
District
that's a-
13
yeah, that's a
existed, then
movie.
it didn't. Car Park 5 may have existed at one point.
Oh, my.
It doesn't anymore.
Where is it gone?
Where is it? I want
You
to
can't
know.
just leave a car park hanging around. can
It's
you?
it's kind of like the La Trobe Chancellor or any university's Chancellor. We always
Yeah,
see the
where
Vice
is he?
Chancellor.
Yeah.
but Where's
Yeah.
the Chancellor? Do
I
they even
guess a
exist?
secret room.
Yeah.
Panic room that has got him locked up and tied up.
Well, he must be in
Definitely.
the tunnels.
Only
But-
explanation.
See,
Yeah.
now these are kind of cool, but like they're kind of boring. Like,
Are they?
Do you have stuff about the supernatural?
Yes.
Not the sinister stuff. I want to know about ghosts.
Well, I have some ghost things up my sleeve.
Fantastic.
Saying
It's
ghosts aren't sinister?
No, Ghosts
okay.
are just misunderstood.
Ghosts are pretty cool. I rate them.
That's true.
I like
That's true.
ghosts.
Just like ducks.
Yeah.
Continue, mate.
Well, so it's no secret that Latrobe is right next door and built on some of the grounds of the old Larundel Asylum, which was pretty popular back in the 50s, and it's now become a supposed hotspot for ghost activity. On a couple of websites, including the Urban List, it's often featured as one of the most haunted sites in Victoria or even Australia as a whole.
How do they rate that?
I
It's
wonder.
like 1 or 2. Is it like,
It's
Feeder
research.
levels.
is it like 1 to 10 spooky?
It's little ghost
0 to
emojis.
Yeah.
Ghost drops.
So, one of the most popular and active ghosts, supposedly, is the ghost of a girl who has a music box with her, and apparently at 12 a.m. in the middle of the night, the sounds of a music box turning and footsteps running can be heard.
I've heard of that one.
Yes,
and
it's pretty
apparently you
popular.
can find the song on YouTube.
Yeah,
Really?
There are people who have recorded who have apparently gone in and recorded it.
I've
Is
seen
it
that
Danger
video
Zone?
as well. No,
Oh, how great would that be?
It's not Danger Zone.
That would be great.
but
Yeah,
as
why is
much
it
as-
always children's songs that ghosts play to be creepy? Why is it never like...
Because ghosts are only children.
Yeah, but a child can be
Stay
into
tuned for
rock
next
and
week
roll.
for that one.
Yeah, what about K-pop?
get some ACDC going on.
What about K-pop? Why
They're
don't
called
they play
Korean
K-pop?
ghosts, and they're a thing.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god. So anyway,
Anyway, back to the...
That would
not
be
to debunk
fantastic.
this theory,
That's just, yeah.
but have we also noticed what also chimes at Latrobe every hour and sounds kind of like a music box? I'll give you a hint. It's currently to our left.
Bill?
The tree.
It's the clock, guys. It's the
Clock,
clock.
guys.
oh.
Oh my god.
I'll give you a hint. It's the clock.
You said our left, as in mine, which is that plane tree.
Our left, our very, very direct left.
Like that way.
My left is...
I got it,
Callum.
Meg.
So the media hub left.
Media
Yes.
left. I
This
can,
conspiracy theory is already
one
falling
that
apart if you
chimes,
can't
like,
decide
every
what's
hour.
left.
but I did. Anyway, there's also
So what is left?
Illuminati confirmed.
No,
Oh
seriously,
my
what is
gosh.
left on the list?
Stop.
Too good, too good.
So closer to campus, everyone, is a supposed ghost on level 3 of the library. So late at night, when you're cramming in your study and you're here after everyone else has left, apparently you hear some footsteps, some books being pushed off the shelves. It's not what you think, but it's something else.
I'm pretty sure that's called a librarian.
Yeah.
At 3 a.m.? I don't think so.
Isn't the library closed at 3 a.m.? Or is it just like the
On
random
weekends, it's
people
open
that
till 12
sleep?
p.m.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, gee. Maybe it's like the random like people that sleep in the library. Like that Mengtong guy? You know that guy?
No.
No? Well, this is a guy that sleeps in the library, just lives there.
On the regular?
Yeah, on the regular.
Interesting.
That's a nice way
So it
to
could be
avoid
him.
paying rent.
Yeah. I
Yes, it
mean,
is.
you just sneak around the
Incur
books.
university debt.
Well, you don't have to be
There's
enrolled
always
in
a
the
loophole.
university to sleep in the
Oh,
library.
yeah.
No way.
Just look like a student.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next week, sleeping in the library for a week.
Challenge accepted.
An experimental study.
Now, can we talk about my favourite?
Yes, we can.
To be honest, like my favorite. Now, this is supposedly completely made up and completely not true in any way, shape, or form. But if it was true, it would be awesome. Unless you're a victim. There is actually a man-sized flesh-eating fish at the bottom of the moat. Now, whether he lives in a house down there or it's more of a shack, we're not sure.
Does he pay rent?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know that either. We are going to try and find an interview with him next week. But, you know, it's something to think about.
Yeah. I mean,
So don't go swimming in the moat,
Because
kids.
who knows what's in the
Because
moat?
you'll get your,
someone jump in the moat?
your legs
Yeah,
eaten.
yeah, we
There's
had
always a
someone
challenge.
2
Yeah.
years ago.
Buddha.
Buddha.
It was Buddha.
Especially
There hasn't been one since?
No, Buddha's a brave man.
Does he still like
Okay.
go here?
I don't think so.
I believe he graduated.
Or he died from the moat? you
The
know?
Pandora virus.
I
wasn't
can
it?
confirm he's still alive.
Oh, okay, good then. That's good. At
That's
least,
good.
you know.
Good sign.
Yeah, good sign. Good sign the moat.
So if there's no actual evidence of this fish, how do we know? How do we like? Have
You just feel it.
You never walked around the moat and felt like, damn, I feel like eating flesh.
was the dam put in there intentionally? Is it like a dam?
Yes.
Water.
Totally.
Good one. I just see the moat looking really dirty and gross and feel
Exactly. So
feel
who
like
knows?
death just walking around it. I mean,
Sad.
Sad.
That's why the Union Hall was built.
That's
Opposite
why the
it.
Union
There we
Hall.
go. It all connects.
it all makes sense.
It's
it
all
just all
connected.
makes sense to me.
If you think about it, but not too much, that's the key.
The moat
yeah,
is like
it's-
the end
you-
of the universe.
yeah.
You can't let it overtake your mind, otherwise you will go insane and, murder people.
Wait, so is it a fish? Not a fish that, like a man with the head of a fish?
No, it's just a really giant fish
So shark.
that eats almost, but
Yeah, but sharks are slender, okay? Fish are fat.
Not all
the key
fish.
difference.
Like
Trout are
what about
pretty
the little
skinny.
goldfish?
Okay, some are fat. Okay, it's not a shark. It's a giant fish. Have you ever seen humanoids from the deep?
No.
Well, it's like that. Okay,
Is it a mermaid?
it's
It could be a mermaid.
it's like an
They're actually
unholy
pretty cool.
unholy
Syphilis,
matrimony.
though.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right. That makes not nearly any sense as well. But, we'll
exactly,
go with it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, was there a ghost around Menzies? Or was it Glen College?
It
One
was
of the
on
colleges.
Glen.
I bet it's
Apparently he
Glen
haunts the
because-
stairs. It's
Yeah.
always Glen.
Yeah, it's always Glenn.
Apparently, and it's just one of those stories that gets told around college. I remember it being around last year. A couple of years ago, a boy actually died during O Week. Like, it actually happened. And
Oh,
people
jeez.
say that his ghost is still around the stairwell around
Sounds
Glen.
like something ACLA should investigate.
Yeah.
Yeah, if only he was here in this room. Unfortunately, he wears
Only.
glasses and wears a blue shirt.
I think he knows.
He always knows. He's always watching us.
This is getting
Always
really
watching.
yeah.
We're getting dark. I feel like the
Like
CIA
I'm
is going to come
getting
and find me.
goosebumps.
Not saying the ACLA guy is God or anything, but
Close enough.
he's always watching.
I'm kind of scared, guys. But
So is this guy
Creeps you
a
out a little?
student?
Yeah.
Okay.
He just
Like,
started
just
uni,
just enrolled.
as in O
okay,
Week, yeah.
okay.
And they cut O Week short, I think, and they stopped
That's
all the activities. that
fair
happened.
enough.
Yeah.
was it this year? Did you say?
No, it was a couple of years ago. I think it was
Oh.
around 2011, 2012. Like, it actually happened. You can look it up.
How did he die?
Right.
He fell off the stairwell, I'm pretty sure.
It makes sense why the ghost haunts the stairwell.
Yeah,
Wow.
kind of
that's-
interconnects there.
That's
So
quite.
it's
But
actually,
also that is
it's actually a
incredibly
male
sad as
ghost
well.
instead of a female ghost.
Oh, that's rare.
Is it?
Yeah, they're usually women.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, there is.
Throughout history, they've been women.
All of
Speaking
them?
of history,
Most
Speaking
of history.
Okay.
Most
Well,
of them.
I love history. If only
Do
there
you
was
love
someone to talk
history?
about it with us.
If only there was someone to present This Week in History.
Ba, ba, ba.
Oh my god.
Starting with yesterday, August 13th. In 3104 BC, 114 BC, technically the Mayan calendar began.
Okay.
As well as that, in 1450, Henry V lands in the Seine River as a part of the 100-Year War.
Yeah, that's.
On August 14th, during the Genpei War, which happened around 1180 in Japan, Taida no Munemori, perfectly pronounced by the way,
I know. I'm actually really
fled with
Kudos.
the young emperor Antoku to escape the Minamoto clan.
Ooh.
But there's more. In August 15th, this Wednesday? Yes, this Wednesday.
Yeah, this Wednesday. Mm-hmm.
In Shakespearean news, in 1040, King Duncan will be killed by King Macbeth on the battlefield.
Oh no.
Not killed in his sleep, as Shakespeare lied. Shakespeare's a liar, guys. Just deal with that.
No, don't tell me that.
In 1620, the Mayflower set sail from Southampton, with 102 pilgrims set sailing for America. In 1824, freed American slaves established the country of Liberia. In 1843, the National Black Convention meets in Buffalo, New York for the first time. In 1930, a lot of things happened on Wednesday. In 1939, The Wizard of Oz premiered at Grauman's Chinese Theatre. And in 1964, Woodstock.
Also,
next day,
Matt
August
Cobain's
16th.
album.
In 1936, the 11th Olympics ceremony will close in Berlin, in which a lot of athletes did things. I can't remember his name. And in 1962, Ringo Starr will replace Pete Best as drummer in the Beatles, both of which are equally unrecognizable because they're the drummers. No offense to any drummers watching.
There you go.
Still in August 16th, in journalism news. In 1903, Joe Pulitzer starts the Pulitzer Prize. That's journalism for us. And in 1940, Hitler orders a full blockade of Great Britain.
Oh, wow.
And also, in 1945, the country of Indonesia was born.
Is this still on a Wednesday?
Yeah, this is still on Wednesday.
Jesus
a lot of things
Christ.
happen on a Wednesday.
I feel like Wednesdays.
Let's
are just
move
the
to
day.
Thursday.
Okay.
Not a lot happened on the Thursday. A
Dang.
French colony arrives on the South Island of New Zealand. That's about it. And Clinton admits to having sexual relations with that woman. That was my best Clinton.
That's a good one.
On the 18th, on the Friday, the Battle of Britain occurred, which is the largest air battle in history. In 1920, the 19th Amendment will be ratified, allowing women to vote in the U.S.
Ooh.
In 1860, of that same date, the French astronomer Pierre Janssen discovers helium. And on the next day, on the Saturday, in 43 BCE, Octavian, who will be later known as Augustus, see, tying it into the theme of the month, getting it there, he'll compel the Senate to vote him consul to rule Rome. Finally, almost there, on August 20th, in 1619, the first known African Americans in North America will land at Point Comfort in Virginia to be enslaved, traded, and otherwise really bad stuff. In 1791, Alaska will be first sighted by the Danish explorer Vitus Bering. In 1866, the U.S. Civil War will end. In 1882, Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture will open up in Moscow. And finally, in 1993, the Oslo Peace Accords will be signed.
And I wasn't born for any of those dates.
Nope, 1993. We weren't born then.
No.
And that is This Week in History. And now
Kudos.
we have Sheridan Lee back in the studio to tell us some more information
About dual citizenship.
I'm
about
back.
the dual citizenships.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of me.
Welcome back. No, we can't. The room's
Thank
very
you,
small.
thank you. And great Clinton impersonation, Calvin.
Right?
I know.
So just quickly in some breaking news, I mentioned at the start of the show that Barnaby Joyce had referred himself to the High Court because he could be a dual New Zealand citizen. And the Internal Affairs, which is a government department in New Zealand, has confirmed that he actually is
Oh
a
my
New Zealand
God.
citizen. Due
That
to
just happened.
yeah,
Really?
it's being reported in the Herald Sun and various media outlets.
Oh my
It's just
God.
being confirmed due to his father being born there.
Fantastic.
Well, welcome to Australian politics, everybody.
So,
Yeah.
all right, let's start with the obvious question. What does that mean now for Barnaby?
Well, his case will be before the High Court to see if he did actually breach the Section 44 of the Constitution, which doesn't allow dual citizenship if you want to be a government minister. And then if he did breach that law, he would have to step down from his post.
Wow.
Wow.
And he's not the first one that we've lost to Section 44 of the Constitution.
Who else? Harold Holt?
Don't say that. Don't say Harold Holt.
Too soon, Calvin.
He was
too
a
soon.
dual
Too soon.
citizenship of the ocean.
No.
Too soon.
Too soon. We all miss him.
Yeah, but it's been a bit like a domino effect. There's one after the other, after the other, after the other. First, we had Greens Senator Scott Ludlam last month forced to resign after discovering he also held New Zealand citizenship, making his entire 10-year time in office invalid. Greens Senator Larissa Waters also found out a few days later that she's a dual citizen of Canada, making her ineligible. She was born in Canada but left as a baby, and I thought, one, okay, that's a bit of an oversight, but two in 1 week within a few days, like,
Yeah.
really?
That's pretty
What
incredible.
a week.
And Liberal Senator Matt Canavan also had to quit because he's a dual Italian citizen, and apparently he said his mother put in the application without his consent when he was 25. Thanks, Mum.
Yeah.
One Nation Senator Malcolm Roberts could also be a dual British citizen, but he hasn't yet provided documentation, and he's choosing to believe he's Australian.
All right.
Each case is before the High Court at the moment. We don't yet know who's going to replace them. They would have to do a recount from the last federal election in 2016 when they were elected. We'll wait and see what happens.
Okay, so now,
Oh,
in
jeez.
relation to this, what's Section 44 of the Constitution exactly?
So Section 44, I'll try and explain this in the most
Verbatim.
non-boring legal way
Yeah,
possible.
please do.
It's basically a list of what would disqualify a person from becoming a member of Parliament in Australia. So if you have a criminal conviction, if you've committed treason, if you are under sentence or have been sentenced for at least a year in prison, if bankruptcy or insolvency, you're a public servant, say a teacher in a state school, or you have financial interests with the government, say you work for a construction company that's building government department. But the first subsection 1 about allegiance to a foreign power is the main concern here. It's what's tripping everyone up. And according to subsection 1, any person who is under acknowledgement of allegiance, obedience, or adherence to a foreign power, or is a subject or a citizen entitled to the right or privilege of a subject or citizen of a foreign power, is not eligible for election. It's basically interpreted as meaning that if you have dual citizenship, you can't stand for election. And if you want to stand for election, you have to take reasonable steps to renounce that citizenship of the foreign country before you can be elected. So becoming naturalised as an Australian citizen isn't enough. Tony Abbott had to renounce his British citizenship in 1994, and Julie Gillard renounced her Welsh citizenship in 1998. But what happens if you don't know you're a dual citizen, or if, like Matt Canavan, your mum applied on your behalf without your consent? There's no precedent for this, so it's going to be up to the High Court to decide, really. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and the breaking news about Barnaby Joyce coming in there is...
That's kind of fantastic.
Yeah.
That's poetic that it happened.
It's quite ironic because they were the ones pointing fingers at all of the other parties. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
jeez. I'm shocked. Do you reckon they should change the rule by any way?
so there is an argument for change. Some people would say, it's an old law, it's from the late 19th century, colonisation, etc. But Australia has a large foreign-born population as well, so there's a lot of concern that it would exclude a lot of people from government and people who may not be aware that they hold dual citizenship. There's also a lot of hostility at the moment regarding foreign influence in our political system, with the foreign donation scandals that have been happening. So it's understandable in that case. But any reform would have to go through a referendum, which is very costly. So there's an argument that, if we hold a referendum, should we hold it with the next federal election to cut cost at the same time? So
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thank you for informing us on this
Yeah,
that's okay.
and for the breaking news.
yeah, it's
But
been great.
Fortunately, we're almost out of time
Oh, no.
on our first broadcast, which went swimmingly.
Damn. We did so well.
Yes.
High five. Yeah,
That's a bad high five.
I know. But anyway.
We all want to thank you from the studio, from us, from myself and Kristen
Chip,
and
chip.
Sheridan
Yep.
and Bilal and Ahmed and Adam and Meg and everyone in the studio. They're tech people, so we don't care.
Yeah, but
So rude.
so rude, but so good at the same time. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Don't forget to tweet us at @EagleReportLTU. We're on Twitter. We're also on Facebook. So go have a look at us and
say hi to us in
say
the
hi.
Agora.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye for now.
See you next week.